Galaxy Physics and Stars of the Galaxy.
Little known to the rest of the world, the United States, along with assistance from Britain and other allies, embarks on a top-secret project codenamed Development of Substitute Materials. Later dubbed the Manhattan Project for the Army's Manhattan, New York Engineering District, the project will later involve over 30 research and production sites. Los Alamos, New Mexico becomes the design, assembly, and testing site for the proposed nuclear fission bomb. The project runs up costs of over $20 billion inflation-adjusted dollars, and before the end of the war, produces several working nuclear bombs. Over 90% of the cost is devoted to building and running factories to produce the small amounts of fissile materials required for the working bombs. By the end of 1943, the Army Air Force begins modifying B-29s under code name Silver Plate to carry the nuclear bombs. Extensive preparations are made and testing is conducted for the nuclear test, including a 100-ton conventional TNT test explosion. On July 16, 1945, at 5:30 in the morning, the Gadget, as it is nicknamed, detonates with a force of 20,000 tons of TNT, commonly referred to as 20 kilotons. The resulting nuclear fission reaction flashes like the sun itself. The shock wave is felt over 100 miles away, and the mushroom cloud reaches 7.5 miles in height. Residents of El Paso, Texas hear the explosion, and the Army releases a cover story of a nearby munitions explosion. Years later, physicist Robert Oppenheimer, the Los Alamos director, recalled a Hindu verse that occurred to him at the test. "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." By mid-1945, multiple invasion studies, based on the results gained from various island invasions, predict that an Allied invasion of the Japanese homeland will result in as many as 800,000 Allied dead, with 4 million Allied casualties overall. The Japanese themselves predict up to 20 million Japanese deaths. With such high casualty predictions, the Allies even contemplate chemical and biological weapons to weaken the Japanese. In late 1944, the 509th Composite Group, a melding of transport and bombing aircraft, is activated under the command of Colonel Paul Tibbets at the remote Wendover Army Airfield, Utah. The 509th is assigned nearly 2,000 men and 15 Silver Plate B-29s, modified to carry the atomic weapons. In Europe, Germany is defeated and the European War ends on May 8, 1945. By the end of May 1945, a committee decides on the target list for the atomic bombs. With the European War over, only Japan is considered for targeting. The original list includes Kokura, Hiroshima, Yokohama, Niigata, and Kyoto. Kyoto is later removed from the target list by the order of U.S. President Harry S. Truman because of its historical and cultural significance. By July 25th, Nagasaki is placed on the target list.
And at Potsdam, the most powerful coalition in our time faces its greatest challenge.
On July 26th, Allied leaders issue the Potsdam Declaration, calling for the surrender of all Japanese armed forces, or suffer the complete destruction of Japan.
Peace, and to final victory over Japan. Shortly after these first meetings, significantly, authorization was made for the surrender ultimatum broadcast to Japan. Never before have 3 men borne so heavy a responsibility to build from a war-torn world a new cornerstone for mankind.
There is no reference to the nuclear bomb. Japan rejects the Potsdam Declaration, citing previously stated surrender conditions already unacceptable to the Allies. With no hope of surrender, the U.S. military prepares the first atomic bomb, codenamed Little Boy, and delivers the components to North Field, Tinian Island, in the Marianas. Hiroshima is selected as the first target. Colonel Paul Tibbets leads the first mission and names his B-29 Enola Gay after his mother. The Enola Gay is joined by the instrumentation B-29, the Great Artiste, and an unnamed photography B-29, later named Necessary Evil. Several weather reconnaissance flights are also included in the mission to assess the conditions over Hiroshima and alternate targets. Little Boy, already fully armed 30 minutes before release, drops from the bomb bay at 8:15 a.m. local time. Little Boy falls for less than a minute and detonates at about 1,900 feet above the city, just slightly off target of the T-bridge and directly over the Shima Surgical Clinic. Little Boy detonates with the force estimated at 15 kilotons, with only 1.7% of its available uranium material actually fissioning. 1 square mile is instantly and completely decimated, with fires ravaging across 4.4 square miles. Nearly 80,000 people of Hiroshima are killed by the blast and fires. Another 70,000 are injured. Enola Gay, the Great Artiste, and Necessary Evil all return to Tinian after the 12-hour mission. Colonel Tibbets disembarks Enola Gay and is presented with a Distinguished Service Cross right there on the aircraft apron. After the success of the Hiroshima bombing, U.S. President Harry Truman issues a statement.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT. What has been done is the greatest achievement of organized science in history.
Japan refuses to surrender. On August 9th, the Soviet Union officially declares war on Japan and launches an invasion of Manchuria. That same August 9th, at 3:47 a.m. local time, the B-29 boxcar, carrying the nuclear bomb Fat Man, departs Tinian, accompanied by B-29's The Great Artiste and Big Stink. Boxcar's primary target is Kokura, and the Enola Gay, flying weather reconnaissance over Kokura, reports clear skies. However, by the time Boxcar arrives, the city is obscured by smoke from multiple fires. Boxcar then diverts to Nagasaki, where it drops Fat Man at 11:01 a.m. local time. Fat Man's plutonium core detonates with an officially calculated force of about 21 kilotons, but nearly 2 miles off target. Due to confusions in reporting, the casualties in Nagasaki vary widely, but 35,000 to 40,000 killed and 60,000 injured is a rough estimate. Of course, in both bombings, over time, many more died and suffered from the radiation effects of the bombs.